So shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of a risen King. Oh, Jesus, shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of a risen King. Said Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Forever, author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the roaring thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And I thank that God, His Son not sparing, sent Him to die. I scarce can take it in. And on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, He bled and died to take away our sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take us home, what joy will fill our heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my
Welcome to Wednesday night Bible study. Glad y'all are with us tonight. How many were here 2 Wednesdays ago whenever I started this study on generations? Most of you, not everybody. I know we have a whole row there that wasn't here, and that's good because y'all are like generation millennials, maybe I generation. We got some I generation in there. We got some millennials. Anyway, we're going to get into all that. But I'm glad you're here tonight, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this study. I think that we had really good participation and learned a lot the last time that we were here. And I'm going to do a little recap for those that wasn't here, and then we'll get into the meat of it. But first, I wanted to open up in a word of prayer. Let's pray. God, I just want to thank you for tonight, Lord. Thank you for being here with us and among us, Lord, allowing us to come meet tonight to study your word and to study about each other and how we grew up and all the things that we lived through, Lord, and how that shapes our personalities and what we think and how we feel and all that, Lord. So, Lord, just be with us tonight in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Okay. I thought what I would start out doing again, because everyone wasn't here, I want to make sure everybody knows what generation they're in. And so we're going to start out with the silent generation. The last time, I have a count, we had 3 that were here from the silent generation. I think the same 3 are here, if I'm not right. We have another one. Okay. All right. Well, so that generation, we might have 4 tonight. That's good. That generation was around 1925 to 1945, somewhere in those neighborhoods, okay? And so if you were of the silent generation, raise your hand. So we do have 4. All right, good. All right. Okay, so the next one, and most people haven't, that generation, like the generation before, were almost coupled together. You could almost call them the greatest generation, okay? They kind of lump them together. In fact, this one deal the study that I did, they put the two generations kind of together because they were a lot alike. They were, they had a lot of the same values. Things didn't change as much during that time as now. How much change? Y'all think about the change, even in a lot of these young people's lives, the change that is happening right now. It is just multiplied. It's going faster and faster. And so the next generation is the baby boomers. And last time we had 22 baby boomers. And so baby boomers are from 46 to 64. If you were born between 46 and 64, raise your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we have 12 here tonight. I'm going to write that down. So 4 and 12. Okay, the next generation is Generation X, and that's my generation from 1965 to 1980. So if you're Generation X, raise your hand. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed you, Jay, didn't I? Sorry, dude. You're older. I keep forgetting that you're old. And so anyway, oh, happy birthday, Jay. God, you're even older. Wow. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so there was 13 baby boomers, my bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Generation X, y'all raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Golly, Generation X. 8, sorry, Chris. Keep forgetting y'all up there. So last time we had 21, so we've fallen off. Generation X. Okay, all right, so the next one is the millennials, and they were born from 1981 to the year 2000. Okay, how many millennials do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 millennials. Okay, and last time we didn't even talk about this next generation, which is the I generation or Generation Z, because we didn't have any in there, but we do have 2 Generation Zs in here today. Okay, so isn't that right? Just 2? Anybody else Generation Z? Shaylee and Jacob? All right, so 2 Zs. All right, Z's, we're not going to talk a whole lot about y'all because y'all ain't really done much yet, okay? But anyway, so that's where we are. So that's the generations that we're going to talk about. And whenever we were here last time, what I did was I had 2 of the generations kind of speak. Okay, I had the silent generation and I had the baby boomers. And we learned a whole lot, at least I did. I learned a whole lot from listening to them speak. If you missed it, you really missed a good deal. And so, and tonight what I was planning on doing was letting the Generation X and the millennials speak and ask a few questions and just hear their point of view on things. I think it's really good for us to understand each other. And before I start that, there's 2 statements that I made that I want everybody to really understand. And one of them is, although the generations live in the same world, they do not experience the world the same way. Okay? So I think that's important for us to remember. Even though we all live in the same world, we haven't experienced it in the same way. And we'll get into a little bit of that more a little bit later. The next thing that I wanted you to think about is that what one generation does in moderation, the next is going to do in excess. Okay? And so those are 2 broad statements. I also want to make you realize that, number one, you may not fit in this little mold that we're going to put y'all in, okay? So just because we're going to go through some characteristics of each generation. And these may not fit you. Please don't get offended, okay? All right, if it doesn't fit you, that's fine. If it does fit you, that's great too. So these are broad statements about the whole generation. And so please don't get offended. I hope I lost a bunch of millennials because we had a song about them. And so anyway, I hope they didn't get offended that we had a song about them. But anyway, I hope they didn't. I was hoping more of them were going to be here because I need them to talk tonight. Okay. I wanted to recap a little bit of what we learned from the baby boomers and the silent generation. And I asked them kind of, what shaped their lives and what went on and stuff like that. And the running theme between the ones that spoke was family. That was a big theme for them, okay? And so I think that's changing a little bit. In other words, what they said was that they did almost everything with family. when everyone went to church, big family, all the family went to church. I mean, I'm talking about extended family. And so when you had big gatherings and when you did activities, it had to do with family. And so that's something that's changed. We learned a little bit about the kind of music they listened to. And I asked everybody if they liked Elvis. And so it was kind of funny listening to the comments about, okay, hold that deal because I'll get to you in just a second. And so it was funny listening to them a little bit because some of them said, they did like Elvis, but the mom and daddy didn't like Elvis. It's funny. I was thinking about that a little bit later, and we'll talk about, and I'm gonna go over a list a little bit about what shapes a generation. But music is one of those things that really do shape a generation. It has to do with values and stuff like that. And I was also thinking, the baby boomers. If you ask the baby boomers in here, where were you when so and so happened? It probably is going to be, where were you when JFK got killed? I mean, am I right on that, guys? I mean, y'all probably remember that incident. Y'all can remember exactly where you were whenever you heard when JFK got killed. Well, for me, Generation X, I remember exactly where I was when Elvis died. I do. I remember that. I was in Piggly Wiggly standing in line. The lady had a little, do y'all know where everybody knows where Piggly Wiggly was, don't you? Okay, good. All right, I just want to make sure. Anyways, cash saver now. But anyway, that was Piggly Wiggly. Had wood floors. Do they still have wood floors? No. Had wood floors. Anyway, I stand in line, and one of the tellers had a little radio up on her deal, and it came over the radio that Elvis had died. I mean, it was like, whew, I can't believe Elvis has died, And so for the millennials, it's going to be 9/11. Where were you? Which most of them was in school when that happened, but that's something that's they'll remember what happened when the Twin Towers, what was you doing when the Twin Towers fell? You know what I'm saying? And so, and now the poor Generation I, there's so many things that are happening. I mean, I don't know that they're going to have something like that. I mean, there may be something really huge that's going to come up, but everything seems to happen every week now, all these tragedies that are going on. Okay. Miss Gail, why don't you let me get you on microphone. What was you going to say about Elvis? Something good about it. Is this on? Wait just a second, Miss. It's turned on. No. It's green.
It's the red light. Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah. A lot of people mentioned Elvis, but I thought later about it. I mean, I knew who Elvis was, but Elvis was a little bit, I think, before my time as far as his big, famous. But nobody mentioned the Beatles. And the Beatles were a bigger thing in my growing up than Elvis was. And I just thought that was kind of odd when I remembered that nobody, in fact, the song that the millennial song was too was a Beatles song. And I couldn't get that crazy song out of my head for days.
Oh, it is a great song. Anyway, well, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up about the Beatles because, of course, the Beatles were before me. So I'm going to ask a question about this. Were they a little bit radical? In other words, were they? Yes. Okay. Sharon's saying yes. Now Sharon's of the silent generation. So, okay. And what about their lyrics? Wasn't their lyrics a little bit? Yeah. I mean, that was one thing that we learned that rebellion kind of started in America during the baby boomers generation. And one of the things that really touched me was listening to we had a few guys, we still got them, Jay and Charles, they both fought in Vietnam. And so we listened to what they had to say, and it was really good. And, one thing that we learned was that the wars before Vietnam, really, when a soldier came home from war, he was a hero. After Vietnam, it was the other way around. He was not a hero. In fact, a lot of them were hated. And so, there was some major changes happened in the 60s and the early 70s. And you think about not only that, but just what happened with our government now, with Watergate and stuff like that. Less and less is America trusting, their government. And before then, and I was going to ask this question, did y'all have the silent generation and even the baby boomers, you know, which I know Kennedy had some problems. You know, I don't know how much y'all trusted him or whatever, but before then, really, was the government trusted baby boomers or silent generation? What do y'all think? Was it? Can y'all think? Yes, we're saying yes over here. No real major issues. Like I said, I know Kennedy was somewhat of a playboy, right? Okay, wait just a second, Jay. Let me. No, I can get to you. We're all right. That means you got to move up here.
If you didn't trust the government, you trusted Walter Cronkite.
Okay.
And when Walter Cronkite said at the end of his newscast, and that's the way it was.
Yeah.
You had complete trust in him, and you don't have it in the news media now.
Right.
But the government was more trustworthy. Of course, there wasn't as much media to tell you what everybody in the
And that's
government
true.
was
That
doing.
is something that's a good point, Jay, because, you know, now, whatever happens, we all have it in our hand whenever we want it, right? Before, you had to go home at 5 o'clock, turn on the news, and you heard it then, you know, if you had a TV. So, yes, ma'am.
One of the things about Kennedy was that he was Catholic, and that was an issue for a lot of people. They weren't sure how a Catholic president was going to work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a
a religious issue, huh? That's interesting. Didn't know about that. You know, we don't worry about that stuff as much as what we should now.
We trusted our bankers. We trusted our lawyers. We trusted the schools.
Everything, huh?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They
a
were-
major change that's happened.
They were
hasn't
above
it?
question, but
Yep.
no more.
No more. That's right. That's right. Okay. What I would like to do now is I want to hear. I've got a few questions for the Generation Xers, and I'm gonna start out since I'm one of them, and I guess for me, one of the things that I remember, you know, whenever I was growing up was I felt secure. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, man, we could go, I'd ride my bike all over Sulphur Springs. I mean, I didn't ride all over Sulphur Springs, but it seemed like I did. You know, I don't think Mom and Dad, they didn't worry about us as far as if we went out and we went down played in the neighborhood, we went everywhere. Now, we can't do that. Am I right or wrong on that? I mean, we don't feel secure to let our kids be out without our supervision or without, you know, knowing where they are at all times. And, you know, what a major change that has had for me. One of the other things that I remember, just a general thing, is how much the world seems like has sped up, even in my lifetime, okay? And what I mean by, right now, it seems like, even me right now, I'm going 90 miles an hour all the time. I mean, it's go, go, go all the time. And I'm going to play you a song here that just, to me, it defines what I feel right now. And, you know, one of the things that I want to think about is on Sundays is what I was thinking about, was how much Sundays have changed just in my lifetime. And, you know, whenever I was young, I remember there was hardly any stores open on Sunday. I'm talking about very few. And if they was, they had a little blue line. I mean, you couldn't buy certain things on Sunday. I guess, do y'all remember that? It was called the Blue Law, wasn't it? Am I right? The Blue Law. So you couldn't buy, they had it roped off, you know, certain things you couldn't buy on Sunday. But there wasn't any ball games. I mean, I'm talking about Little League ball games or anything like that. I mean, now you can do everything that you can do during the week, you can do on Sunday now, pretty much. I mean, everything's open. I mean, you can go just everywhere. And so I think that's one of the major changes that's happened in my life, of how much the world has sped up, is that that's a major change. And you think about the kids, these kids right here, you know, we remember that, us, the older ones, that we remember that period when the way it was. They don't. It's always been 90 miles an hour, right? And so, you know, that's why the makes the statement true about, you know, we all live in the same world, but we don't see the world in the same way because we haven't lived through the same things. And so, Chris, if you would play that song, and what this song is is kind of the way I feel like my generation is just, and it's not, and I don't know what the older ones. Before you play, I want to ask a question. What this song's talking about is just the go, 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 okay? About how fast we go, you know, how we have to feel like we've got to be doing something all the time. Baby boomers, silent generation, do y'all feel that way now? Do y'all feel like that everything is just go, go, go now in your life? Or I know some of them, maybe the ones that have retired, it might be a little bit slower for you, but what do you think? Let me get some. Are y'all retired? Okay, what do y'all think? Does life seem to be going really fast, or is it slow, or what? What do you think?
Just, very, very fast.
Still
and I try
fast,
to keep up with my kids.
Okay, and it's because your kids are probably going fast, right? Am I right on that?
I agree with her.
Yeah. What about you, Sharon? What do you think? Is it?
Well, I've heard the comment, the days go slow, but the years go fast.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Do you kind of feel that way some?
Well, I'm so slow that the days go slow for me.
I see.
But
I hear you.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay, what about the baby boomers? What do y'all think? Do y'all seem like the world, y'all are still, a lot of the baby boomers are still working. You know, I would say, are the majority of the baby boomers in here still working? Everybody? Is there any baby boomer retired? That's one of the things I want to talk about your generation. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Chris, if you would, play that deal. And David, would you mind catching that light back there?
Alarm clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor. Yeah, it's off to the races, everybody out the door. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind, it's a crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can, trying to push a little harder, trying to get the upper hand. So much to do in so little time, it's a crazy life. It's ready, set, go, it's another wild day. When the stress is on the rise in my heart, I feel you say, just breathe, come and rest at my feet and just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe.